everyone, welcome to video 3 in the series on knee pain and the rowing machine. In this video, we're going to talk about exercises to do off of the rowing machine to help structurally support your knee, increase your strength, and increase your explosiveness and power when you're on the rowing machine. If you haven't checked them out already, video 1 and 2 are already up. Video 1 goes over on the rowing machine some things that you might be doing that might be aggravating your knee, and video 2 are some corrections or things to look at when you're on the rowing machine to ideally stop those things from video 1 from happening, and then come back to this video. So the first exercise we're going to do is called the straight leg raise, or SLR. Now this exercise is all about the quad strength when it is in a straightened position. This exercise is a fantastic indicator into the general strength of your knee and your quad. If you are somebody who is having pains or discomforts either on the rowing machine or off, this is a great way to kind of assess where your core strength is in the quad muscles. So to do this, what you're going to do is lay down, have one leg bent to 1, protect your back, and 2, it's going to kind of tell you how far you're going to lift your leg up. So what we're going to do is with the other leg, the priority in this exercise is that my knee stays 100% completely straight. If your knee starts to bend, it's your sign that you're getting tired, your quad needs a break, or you have something else going on, and you might not be able to get it straight. But for the general population, if you're just going through this movement, your knee should be 100% straight and lift your leg up. Again, this leg is kind of telling you this is the max that you're going to lift it to, and then you're going to come down. Now, when you do this, try not to go super fast. The slower you go, the harder this is. As people advance, I have them hold this and then go down. Try to go up nice and slow. You can count to 3. You can count to 3 on the way down. Basically, just keep a pace that works for you. While you're doing this, if you notice a lot of quad strength, a lot of quad shaking, that's letting you know that your muscle is really working and it's having trouble keeping this position. So that's a great indicator to really work on this exercise. Then you can do this on the other side, same concept. If you've had a knee injury, this is a great exercise to use as a check-in to see where your knee is at. So do 10 to 20 of those, see how it's feeling, and it's a great just check-in, and if you're finding you're shaking it a lot, do that exercise, and that's a good starting point. So the second exercise that we're going to talk about is the terminal knee extension, or TKE. Now this exercise is very helpful if you are a person who in video 1 you notice that you happen to get to the finished position and you over straighten because you might have more mobility or hypermobile, so you over straighten your knee. Or if when you're standing, your knee kind of goes backwards. If you are one of those people, then the terminal knee extension is a fantastic exercise for one, teaching your quad to basically not go as far back and to stop in a more neutral position. It just helps with our brain and our nerves and getting that connection with this exercise. It also helps with the strengthening of the quad, going from a slightly bent position to the fully straight position, which we do at the end finished position on the rowing stroke. And I actually have a whole video that's going to walk you through how to actually do that exercise, but I would definitely check out that video if you're having struggles with that part in the rowing stroke, and you want to work on quad strength in that area. So the third exercise that I actually recommend is lateral walks. The reason is because when we're on the rowing machine, we actually don't have any movements from side to side. And in our daily life, we're going side to side. Rowing is just a forward and backward movement. But our glutes need to have strength to support our knee when we are off the rowing machine. So if you're struggling with knee pain from the rower, on the rower, or off the rower, this is a great exercise to really work the glute strength, which helps to stabilize at your hip and your knee. One of the things that's really helpful for these is to have bands like this. Now, they usually come in a pack because some are a lot easier than others and some are harder. So I'll have a link in the description below if you're interested, but these can be really helpful. Or if you have a longer TheraBand kind of thing, you can tie them in a knot to make it kind of a circle. But what you're going to do is you're going to take these and you're going to put them around your ankles. If you're a person who does this exercise and you find that it is aggravating your knee, Take this band and put it right up above your knees and see if that helps to make it less painful. It will decrease the torque that's happening at your knee. Now I'm actually going to show you 2 ways to do this. And ideally when you do this exercise, you're going to feel it in your glutes, in your butt, possibly a little bit to the side of your butt. I don't want you to feel this in your knee. I don't want you to feel it in your hip joint. And for some people, doing it one way targets more the butt, and for other people, doing it a slightly different way targets the butt more. Just depends on which muscles they tend to want to use to help them get this movement. So to start, what I would recommend is have your knees straight. And again, if you're a person who goes backwards, try to have a little bit of a bend so that they're more in a neutral position. You are going to keep your stomach tight, and your toes are going to be pointing forwards like they're in line with your shoulders. You're going to step outwards and then follow with the other one. And you're just going to keep going in one direction until you run out of room. Then you're going to turn, or not turn, you're just going to start going the other way. Now as you do this, ideally what you want to try and do is not, if I step, I don't want to have a giant rocking movement with my torso at my hips. Think of yourself as like a log and you're just stepping out to the side. Now, when you bring the other foot in, try not to have it slide against the floor. Try to pick it up and bring it to the other foot. Find a distance that works for you. If you have a shorter hall or a shorter room, you can just do 4 or 5 steps and then go back and forth more times. But try to get to 20 or 30 on each leg in total. So 20 to 30 going one way, 20 to 30 going the other way. If you aren't feeling that in your glutes, the other thing that you can try is actually putting a little bit more of a bend in your knees. So you're in a mini squatting position. And then doing the same thing, and it's a little bit more like a basketball drill, but you're just gonna be stepping out like that. If that targets your glutes a little bit more, fantastic, do it that way. So find the way that works for you. And if you're really not feeling anything, try to get a bigger band. And if the band is too much, try going without one. So just find what works for you. So the 4th exercise that we're going to talk about is squatting, because squatting is actually really similar to rowing. And I have a whole video explaining how squat impacts your rowing and how they are similar that you can check out. It's also in the description below. But if we are talking about having knee pain, knee discomfort, or just trying to increase our power and our strength for our rowing, squats are a fantastic way to do that. Now, if I go down into a deep squat position like this, this is pretty much an extreme version of the catch position in the rowing stroke. So if I come out of this a little bit, this is very similar to the catch position. I am then pushing up with my legs until I get to there, and then I would be moving at my hips. So the hip hinge is a little bit different. It's more like a deadlift, but when it comes to the actual leg part of it, this is all very similar. It's working your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes, your core. So it translates really well to rowing, which means if you are struggling with some knee things, the squat is a great exercise to do off the rowing machine. Now, if you are having pain or discomfort, just start by doing some squats in a pain-free range of motion. If you find you are going up onto your toes, there are some strategies and tricks that you can do, so please feel free to comment below and I'll make a video about that. But try to keep your weight more towards your heels, but middle of your foot. Basically, just don't go up onto your toes. If you think about the rowing stroke, we're pushing more through our whole foot than we are pushing through our toes as we explode. So you're trying to mimic it the best that you can. Now, as you're having less pain or you're not having pain and you want to work on exploding, one of the things that you can do is do squats, go down as far as is comfortable, and if you can find a spot similar to your actual positioning, feel free to go that far. But really, even if you just go to about a 90-degree knee bend, this is a great place to work on this. Just staying here and doing pauses at the bottom, coming out, doing a little pause, coming out a little more, doing a little pause, and then coming up. So pausing squats, pausing at the bottom, pausing in the middle, choosing different spots to do that. Another helpful one is doing it with pausing and then coming straight out of that, or going really, really slow on the way down and exploding up, or going down and really, really slow up. You can mix it, you can play with it and see which ones feel better, see which ones feel good to you, play with them and see how you're improving on your rowing. But those are a bunch of different variations that you can do. Then of course you can add weight. Goblet squats, back squats, holding weight at your side. You can pick different options that work for you and the materials that you have. So last one that's a little bit more advanced that I wouldn't recommend if you are having knee pain actively, but squat jumps, where you go into a squat and you explode upwards. That will work on the explosiveness that we have in part of the rowing stroke. So those are the 4 exercises that I would recommend to help with knee stabilization, which also includes your glute, your hip, your quads, your hamstrings, and also a little bit to help with some explosiveness to help hopefully improve your numbers on the rowing machine. So I hope that was helpful. Please, if you found this helpful, let me know by clicking that thumbs up, and let me know your questions. I'll jump on, make a video like this one answering your questions, and as always, happy rowing.